Yo, what's up guys, it's Tat, and welcome on into the Legion map tier list. I don't think I've actually done anything like this before, so this should be kind of interesting. I'm going to be ranking all the maps based on how good they are for Legion. That's pretty much it. You'll notice that I'm missing 5 of the Macmillan maps and the other 4 Badham maps. That's on purpose. I'm just going to average them out. So Badham Preschool is just all 5 Badham Preschools. You know, Cold Tower is just the average experience between both Cold Towers. So that's basically all you need to know going into this. I'm going to start order appearance really, and then towards the end we will optimize the list and fine tune some things. All right, so first we have Father Campbell's Chapel. This is a decent map, I would say. It's probably good with add-ons, maybe good by itself. I'll say it's good by itself. You can sometimes have a pretty rough RNG spawn, but other than that, this is a pretty easygoing map. Even with base kit, I'd say this is just kind of alright. You definitely want to bring some add-ons to have a more consistent experience, but I think it's manageable on its own. Disturbed Ward is not a good map. There's no way to really slice it. Disturbed Ward is very big, lots of safe loops. Legion has no anti-loop. So this is kind of rough for him. 𝗥𝗴𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗏. This is good with add-ons, I think. The map is still a little big. The main building's quite safe. It's hard to deal with. You definitely want to bring 𝗥𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I don't think I have a whole lot to say about all these maps in particular. That's what I'm noticing going through this is, like, there's a few things to talk about, but at the end of the day, like, it's a map. Blood Lodge. This is a really good Legion map. Nice and small. There's only one wall to break, and there's a lot of easy 3-gen spawns. It's quite nice. Azerovs. I'd say this is a pretty good map. Generally speaking, I have a decent experience with this. I think it's probably better than Chapel. Wretched Shop. I'm going to say this is also pretty good. I tend to have a good experience, although that might just be luck, so I'll put it in good with add-ons. Wrecker's Yard. This is Legion's best map. This will be at the very top of the tier list. It's nice and small, it's flat, there's no place for survivors to really run away. It's nice. Badham Preschool. This is, it's not DC worthy, but it's pretty bad. I'm gonna put it probably at the very bottom here. The one saving grace is there's lots of walls, which sounds like a negative, but with Frank's mixtape, that's basically plus 2 seconds for your frenzy every time you kick a wall. So you're able to keep a frenzy up for a very long time, figure out where everybody is, get a bunch of chain hits. But generally speaking, yeah, Badham Preschool is not very good, so it's either bad maps or DC. Borgo is a fantastic map, on the other hand, easily one of the best. It's a perfect square, the loops are really easy to deal with, and I get a lot of chain hits. Rancid Abattoir. This is, it's a good map, actually. Now that I think about it, this map is fairly consistent. The main building is easy to deal with. The loops aren't too difficult, really. I'd say it's pretty nice. Good experience. Same with Cowshed, actually. Although Cowshed, maybe with add-ons. I feel like Cowshed's pushing it in terms of the size, so definitely want to bring some add-ons for Cowshed. Torment Creek, on the other hand, this is just a bad map for Legion. Really open, really big. There's not a whole lot to work with. Kind of sucks. Rotten Fields, I'm going to say is good with add-ons. By itself, though, it's pretty rough. Thompson House. This is, I think, probably going to be our first DC tier. This map is horrible for Legion. The main building's really safe, easy to basically hide upstairs or behind it as a survivor. Legion basically will never get a hit on you. The map is big. The loops are safe. It sucks. Nostromo and Toba Landing, I'm going to put next to each other. This is pretty miserable. Thompson House is going to separate them. I'd much rather get Toba than Nostromo, but neither of them are exactly thrilling maps to play on as Legion. Area Crows. This is going to probably go top of bad. I feel like if you bring 𝗥𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, this map is a good experience, but other than that, this blows. This map is horrible for Legion, dude. The 2 Red Forest maps, though. Okay, so this is Mother's Dwelling. Main building's a pain, so you need Bamboozle for that. If you don't have Bamboozle, GG's. Also, both Red Forest maps have the bugged shack vault for Legion, so if you're playing at 120 FPS, you can't vault the shack window in Frenzy. I think they're both pretty bad Legion maps, but they're probably right about here. They're not exactly great experiences, but there's worse things out there, I think. Gideon's Meat Plant. This is one of Legion's best maps. I have to put it up top. Basically 2 small maps stacked up on top of each other. I highly recommend you bring either Iridescent Button to chew through pallets or Frank's Mixtape to chew through the walls. Frank's Enlist on this map in particular is pretty strong. You could also use Eerie Button plus List. It kind of depends on your playstyle, but Frank's is more of an aggressive, just run in a straight line towards the person. If there's a wall in your way, you kick the wall, and you don't really have any consequences for that. So yeah, it depends on your playstyle, but this is a really solid map. Hawkins. Fuck Hawkins. This map is awful, dude. I'm gonna put it in DC. Like, it's safe upstairs, the portal room is safe, it's hard to navigate, chaining hits is difficult, the loops are miserable. It sucks. It's a horrible map. Garden of Joy as well. This is not a very good Legion map, let alone a good map in general. Main building is incredibly safe. Parking lot loop is very safe. The rest of the tiles are just kind of okay to deal with, but yeah, it's not pleasant. Most of the time you're an M1 killer on this map, and so Frenzy doesn't do much for you. The Theater. I played maybe 3 or 4 matches against bots in the custom games, so I can't tell you with certainty where this lies. It's just going off of a PTB bot experience with Legion, but I'm gonna say this is probably a pretty bad map. I don't know exactly where it is. It might be here, it might be here. I'm gonna put it here for the time being. It was pretty big and hard to chain hits. The main building's easy, but the rest of the map is big, so yeah, do with that as you will. Hadfield. Instant DC. Legion sucks on this map. It's really big, really open, they see you coming, and there's 4 infinites on the map, so there's nothing you can really do. It's Bloodlust 3 Simulator. This map blows. Larry's, one of Legion's best maps. It's going up top here. Fantastic, nice and small, line of sight blockers, it's all one floor, so it doesn't suffer the same problems as Hawkins. It's a very flexible map with all kinds of different builds. There's no safe areas for survivors to hide. You can use Stealth Legion, you can use a Fast Legion, you can use an Info Legion, a more pallet breaking Legion. All that stuff works, it's great. Full Tower, both variations. Easily one of Legion's best maps. Nice and small, nice and compact. You can funnel survivors to one side of the map. It's great. Ironworks. This is going to be a pretty bad Legion map. I'm going to put it about here. Ironworks is big. The main building is safe. Basically, if someone's in the main building, you will never get it down in Frenzy. It's rough, man. It's rough. Suffocation Pit. Both variations. Good with add-ons. I'm going to probably put it about here. The original version is a 3-gen map. The second version is more of a spread out kind of massive square. I think it's more or less a giant square. So the second variation is way better for Legion than the first variation, but both of them, you kind of need some good add-ons. Storehouse, this is a DC, bro. This map is fucking awful for Legion. It's really big, really spread out. I've never had a good experience in Storehouse as Legion. Not once. It's really bad. Shelter Woods is probably a pretty bad Legion map, I think. I don't know where I'm going to put it. Maybe next to Ironworks, slightly better than Ironworks. It's wide open, so they see you coming, and there's not a whole lot you can really do about that. The main building's actually pretty decent. The pallets that spawn there are rather safe. So Legion struggles quite a bit. Ormond. This might be a bit of a surprise for some people, but I think Ormond is probably pretty decent. If you bring Frank's Mixtape, it's fantastic. If you don't, my condolences. Lots of walls to break in the middle, and you can use those strategically to kind of extend your frenzy. So the rest of the map is also fairly easy to deal with. There's like maybe 2 strong loops, and the rest is just, you just do one backwards mind game and boom, you get the hit. So easy loops to deal with. 2 strong loops in total. This map's pretty straightforward, but you definitely want to bring some add-ons. RPD East Wing, I'm gonna say, is probably about here, and the West Wing is about here. Yeah, the stark contrast, man. RPD East Wing's way way more manageable than the West Wing. The West Wing is just basically an auto DC. This map sucks. It's the old RPD. It's really big, lots of floors. It's easy to run and hide from Legion. It sucks. East Wing is a lot more condensed, and you can kind of play more towards a 3-gen here. So it's not even remotely as bad for Legion, but yeah, West Wing blows. Dead Dog Saloon, one of Legion's best maps. I'm gonna put it probably up here. Frank's Mixtape is obviously a very good map for Dead Dog Saloon, also for Gideon's, Ormond, and Silent Hill. Speaking of Silent Hill, I'm going to say this is probably a good map with add-ons. Again, you need Frank's Mixtape, otherwise it's kind of rough. Frank's Mixtape list or Uri Button BFFs is what I would suggest if you're planning on going to Silent Hill. If you use Season Mixtape, congrats, you know where literally everybody is on the map because their Terrorius basically covers the whole thing plus Killer Instinct range, so that's great. Unfortunately, it's 2 floors and it's pretty hard to navigate those 2 floors, so you might get situations where you'll see someone basically right next to you, but you can't hit them because they're a floor above you. That's not a good feeling. Pale Rose and Grim Pantry. Pale Rose is sort of another RPD situation. I don't think this is that bad. I'd rather play on Pale Rose than pretty much most of these maps. Loops are pretty easy to deal with. It's a pretty big map, but once you get rid of those 3 strong pallets, it's basically just a giant dead zone, and survivors just drop like flies. And then the Grim Pantry is a different story. The Grim Pantry is not even remotely as fun. It's a lot more safe. The main building is horrible to deal with, and just like Pale Rose, it's quite large. We're down to the last 2 maps, and luckily these are 2 very good Legion maps actually. Yamoku Estate, I'm going to say, is good with add-ons. It's good with add-ons. I'll probably put it at the very top here. It's easy going. There's not a whole lot of strong loops, so to speak. They're all very mind gameable, very manageable. So you don't necessarily need to get it down in Frenzy to have success here. And then the Sanctum of Wrath. This is a really, really good Legion map, man. This is so small. It's so small and tiny. The loops are easy. It's a great time. So I think that this is largely my tier list. There might be 1 or 2 things that I might swap around here. Like looking at this, the very top, I think this is mostly how I would set up the best maps in order and the worst maps in order, more or less. Everything else in the middle you can kind of swap interchangeably, but I think this is it. I think this is my Legion add-on tier list. I hope this has been informative. I hope this has been interesting for you to watch, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.